What's going on, ghosties? Welcome back to Tales of Spooky Coffee House. If you're new here, welcome to our podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Veronica,
And I'm Chelsea.
and it's time to get spooky. Ghosties, how are you? How you doing? I'm really excited for today's episode for whatever reason. I don't know. I always
Oh,
I always look forward to talking to you.
me too. And I'm excited for my questions today.
Oh God. You know what, Loki? I'm excited too. I don't know what her questions are. I know she has questions for me, but I'm excited. All right, let's see. Chelsea, how are you doing? I missed you. It's been so long since we've last spoken.
It's been a week.
It's been a week. It's been a whole ass week. I can't do it. I have separation anxiety.
That's just because we're so much fun together.
Uh
I
hmm
I have a story for you.
Ooh, do tell.
Okay, so you know how I hate dolls, right?
You love dolls, yes.
So I swear everyone in my family gives my children talking dolls just to annoy the shit out of me. Okay.
Uh-huh.
So my husband and I are in our room last night, not doing anything sexual, just hanging out, laughing, whatever. And he rolls over to tickle me, and all of a sudden you hear Peppa Pig. Do you know who Peppa Pig is?
Yes, I know who Peppa Pig is.
Okay, so we just start hearing Peppa Pig talk. That it tripped me out. It didn't scare me, but it tripped me out. And so we're looking around the bed. One of my daughters' Peppa Pig doll is in the bed, and it was talking. I was like, great, just
And
fucking
did
throw it
you guys
away. Like,
accidentally like touch it or what? Or like kick
but yeah,
it?
because yeah, we like rolled over it,
Oh,
and
okay, okay, okay.
so I was like, just get rid of it. So my husband throws it on the floor, right? We go back to just joking around, and all of a sudden, fucking Peppa Pig goes off again.
No.
I straight grabbed his face and I looked at him straight in the eye. I'm like, get that fucking thing out of this room before I
But
scream.
it's just Peppa Pig, man. Like if
And
it
it
was a
went,
creepy like porcelain doll that talked, like yeah, get that shit out of there.
but it was going off by itself. And then, like, while we were sitting there talking about it, it went off like two or three more times, just nonstop, like no break. It just kept going and going. And I'm like, get the fucking thing out of here. Just get it out of here.
You know what? I've never experienced something like that where a doll goes off on its own. Unfortunately, I would love to experience that. The closest thing I have to that experience of yours is when, and I'm sure, like, if you guys have an iPhone, I'm sure many of you have like experienced this, but like, it isn't it trippy when Siri just goes off out of nowhere? Like, she'll be
Yes.
like, "I'm sorry, I didn't understand your question." Like, bitch, I didn't ask you a question. The fuck? Who's
my
talking to you?
my Alexa does that too.
Oh, it's so okay. Alexa's creepier because that bitch is loud. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. It was really funny this one time.
mm-hmm.
My husband and I were talking, and it was in our room again. Like, we were just talking, and all of a
Married
sudden,
people talk?
yeah, we do. It's
What?
yeah. Anyways, the Alexa in the bathroom started going off and answering a question that we didn't ask, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Do you remember what it said?
No.
Like, the end of the world is.
But yeah, I thought you would enjoy my Peppa Pig story.
Yeah, I love that. I love that it was Peppa Pig specifically and that you were still scared.
It's just that it goes off by itself. Like, I can't do that. Like, my mother-in-law gave me a talking Elmo, one of those like tickle me Elmos or
Mm-hmm,
whatever.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Actually, it was two of them. It was two Elmos and a Cookie Monster.
mm-hmm.
And they talk, but the batteries were dead. She's like, yeah, they haven't talked in like a couple of weeks. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I toss them into my trunk and I'm
Ew,
driving.
you just hear Elmo laughing.
Yes, yes.
Ew.
And I was in the car by myself, and Elmo started going off.
Bro,
And
I would be dying of laughter. Like, keep
I
it
was
down back
driving.
there.
I was driving. I was trying not to crash.
Hey, speaking of having things in your trunk, why don't you tell the ghosties about that TikTok you sent me?
So, ghosties, I sent Veronica a TikTok. What was it? Yesterday or a couple days ago now?
I think it was, well, I saw it yesterday.
So it goes. It's an article, and it says, "Why do so many murderers bury victims in their own backyards?" And one of the comments says, not everyone has the trunk space or gas money to drive way out in the middle of nowhere to dump their bodies. Check your privilege. We're
Dude,
all
for
doing the best we
real,
can.
check your privilege, man.
It was the check your privilege. We're doing the best that we can. That just it killed me.
Yeah, yeah. I loved it. I thought it was perfect, especially I think it took me back to when you were talking. I think the episode season 1 was when you did Turnbull Canyon, and I think it was that episode when we were talking about how I think I would be the dumbass to have like the dead body accidentally fly out of my trunk.
Yeah.
So some of us aren't smart enough, okay, to work a trunk apparently. So, but I thought it was hilarious. So thank you for sending me that. That was great.
You're, you're welcome. I have some other questions for you though.
Okay, I'm excited.
So, my one question, and I was not going to ask you, and then I was like, no, fuck that. I'm going to ask, but I'm going to rephrase it to get specific.
Mm-hmm.
Who is your comfort character that is not played by Pedro Pascal?
Wait, not Pedro
Not,
Pascal?
yes, not played by Pedro Pascal.
Okay, that's an easy one. I'm gonna go with Mater. Mater without the t from Cars. I That's my comfort movie. Like after I watch something scary or I experience something scary, whatever it is. Like when I'm actually scared, I watch Cars. And actually, shout out to my friend Matthew. He sent me, I think it was a TikTok or no, it was a screenshot where it says, "Why is no one freaking out over Mater from Cars? The guy lives in a junkyard full of car parts, which wouldn't be that bad if he didn't exist in a universe of talking cars. He sleeps surrounded by discarded organs and hollowed out corpses." I knew there was a reason why I liked Mater. And when he sent me that, I was like, holy crap. Because I love Cars. Ever since they took us on our 5th grade promotion trip to the movie theaters to watch Cars, like I've been obsessed. My little light switch thingy is literally Lightning McQueen and Mater. And so when I read that, I was like, oh my God, like I knew I liked Mater for a reason. I knew it. I thought it was hilarious. So thank you, Matt, for sending me that.
I totally forgot that we went to go see that movie for our promotion.
Then we had like lunch and stuff upstairs, which I didn't even know existed.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I almost didn't go to that.
Really?
Yeah,
Why?
because the irony in this story is
Oh
gonna make
God.
you fucking laugh.
Hmm.
I didn't like reading, and I didn't want to read the book that we were supposed to read, so I almost didn't get to go because I almost failed the test to see that I actually read
What?
it.
You
Yeah,
didn't like reading?
yeah. Fifth grade year old me did not like reading.
Oh, how the tables have turned. That's wild. But I'm glad you went because it was a fun, like, it's, you know what, thinking back, walking from our elementary school to the theater, that was a walk.
Yeah.
And
I forgot. Yeah.
anyway,
I
sorry, we're just tripping
forgot.
out,
Yeah,
guys. Sorry.
we're
They're
memory
like, well,
lane.
how far is it? Sorry, guys,
That's
sorry.
like a 2 mile walk,
Yeah, it's
if
it's
not
a it's a
more,
it's a
for
gnarly
fifth
walk.
graders.
Yeah, with our little feet.
Yeah. Do you remember when we used to walk store with all the
Yeah,
crystals?
yeah. I remember that.
You know they closed down.
No way. I think about it sometimes. Every time I'm at the post office.
Yeah, a couple years ago, like actually I think it was one of the summers that I visited while we were still in high school. Grampy took me and they had
Oh,
closed signed.
no.
Yeah, and one of the owners was out there and she's like, "Yeah, we shut down. We weren't making enough money." And I was like, "But look at all the rocks you have in your yard."
Cool rocks.
Like, no, seriously, they still had like barrels of fucking stones in their front yard and they just weren't selling them anymore. And I was like, "But I'm
Aw.
right here. Like I have money for you."
Yeah, I think they could get back into business, especially with like social media.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Maybe they did for that. I don't know. I'll have to look into it. Anyways,
Mm.
moving on. What is the biggest lie you've ever told?
Oof, the biggest lie I've ever told.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know. Well, now I'm thinking of all the lies I've ever told. that I can remember. I don't know. Big lies? I don't really.
It doesn't have to be like a big lie. It's just the biggest lie that you've ever told.
I know,
What's a
but
big
like,
lie for you?
I guess saying I love you to someone that and I'm not meaning it. I think that's a rough lie. But it's not someone like a significant other or like a family member. It's more of a like a friend type of thing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But I think saying I love you and not meaning it kind of sucks. So I'll admit to that.
Okay.
Do you have an answer for that one?
The biggest lie I've ever told is I don't hate you, I just don't love you anymore. Good luck figuring out which part is the lie.
Wait, you just told me that the other day. I'm just kidding. We need to talk.
Ghosties, in case you didn't catch that, that was a joke.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. It's totally a joke.
So I have some would you rather questions.
Oh God. Okay.
I love this game.
Oh God. I'm scared.
Would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader?
Breathe like Darth Vader.
Would you rather adopt a British accent every time you're having a serious conversation or laugh every time someone cries?
Uh, accent. Accent. I'll have the accent because I already do that. And then I'm gonna switch my answer for the first one. I want to talk like Yoda.
Okay. Since you watched the Harry Potter movies, would you rather live in that universe with no power or be a Death Eater?
I don't mind being a muggle.
Would you rather glow bright pink every time you're attracted to somebody or glow red every time someone annoys you?
So either glow pink or turn bright red.
Either glow pink or glow red.
Oh, I'll glow red. Let them know that I'm annoyed. The fuck? Like you're annoying me. Go away.
All right, last one. Would you rather have all of your Google searches or all of your photos on your phone made public?
Photos. You guys do not want to know what I Google.
I feel like I would be arrested if people saw what I Google. But as a
No.
writer, I have an excuse though.
All right. Well, you dig yourself in your hole as much as you want, girl. You do you.
That's it.
Okay.
Those were my questions, yeah.
Okay, my turn. So I do have one question for you, and then I have an update about a topic that I brought up, I think, a couple of episodes ago. So would you like the update or would you like the question first?
Since we're asking questions, let's do the question first.
Okay, so my question for you is, what is a bad addiction that you have, whether it's serious or not, whatever you're comfortable bringing up?
An addiction?
Yeah, an addiction, an obsession.
Um
Oh God.
I have an addiction to morally gray dominant male characters in books.
Yep. And for ghosties who are like, wait, what the fuck? She's brought this up before. She has brought this. This is normal. This is normal. We're fine. Okay. Okay, nice. Good for
Because
you.
like what is that? There's this saying that's been going around for like 2 years now, where it's like the hero would sacrifice you to save the world, but the villain would sacrifice the world to save
Everyone,
you.
yeah.
And I'm like, yes, I can get behind that.
The romance. The
The
romance.
romance is just, oh my gosh, it's spicy.
So the update that I have for you ghosties, it's about the teacher that got shot in her classroom by one of her 6-year-old students. So, if you're having a good day, I'm sorry. So let's start off with the fact that, I mentioned that the administration did absolutely nothing, even after a couple warnings of the child possibly having a gun. So this update kind of gets specific on those events that occurred. So we're going to start off with the teacher herself. Her name is Abby Zwerner. She herself went to administration because she heard rumors about one of her students carrying a gun. And administration did nothing, okay, with this information. 1 hour later, another teacher told the administration that they checked the backpack and found nothing but felt confident that the boy put it in his pocket and then went out to recess. Administration did nothing. Instead, they replied with, "He has pretty little pockets." That part really pissed me off. Next, later on, another teacher came in and said that the shooter showed one of her students the gun during recess and that if she told on him, he would shoot her.
Wow.
Another teacher told the administration that he would search him and his bag, but administration told him to wait it out because it was almost the end of the day. Less than an hour later, Abby was shot.
They could
Abby's
have
gonna get
prevented that whole thing.
they could have prevented the whole thing. There was multiple warnings, multiple witnesses, stuff like that, and nothing was done. Not even an ounce of concern from administration. God forbid another student was shot or killed, or Abby. Abby survived. Luckily, I'm happy. And she has a pretty good lawyer who, is going to give the administration what they deserve, you know?
That whole administration needs to just be removed.
Removed, maybe even sent to jail. I don't know, but something needs to be done. This is not okay. This could have gone a lot worse. But yeah, when I saw that TikTok, I was so irritated. I was already irritated to begin with this story, just because I knew the administration was warned many times and they did nothing. But to know like the specific information now, it's like, wow, like really?
How can you just ignore all of those complaints?
Yeah. Oh, anyway, so we're gonna move on from that to segment one, which is a true crime topic of the week. Chelsea, are you ready?
I'm ready. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
So I have hidden today's topic from Veronica this entire time.
How rude.
And the reason for this is it's a pretty well known true crime unsolved murder. Okay. And Veronica and I know like a lot about this because it happened in the area where we were raised and grew up. But I was surprised at the amount of information that I did not know. So I thought it would be interesting to talk about.
I'm like excited.
So today's topic is the Black Dahlia.
Ooh, I like this one. I'm excited.
More excited than you already were.
I'm more excited than yeah.
So the Black Dahlia is an unsolved murder that happened in the early 1900s. Elizabeth Short was an American woman who was found murdered in the Leimert Park neighborhood of Los Angeles on January 15th, 1947. Her case became highly publicized because of the gruesome nature of her crime, which we'll get into later. But Elizabeth was born on July 29th in 1924 in a section of Boston, Massachusetts. She was the third of five daughters of Cleo Short and his wife, Phoebe May Sawyer. So Elizabeth's father built miniature golf courses until he lost most of his savings in the 1929 stock market crash. And in 1930, his car was found abandoned on the Charleston Bridge, and it was assumed that he had jumped into the river. So, believing that her husband was deceased, Elizabeth's mother began working as a bookkeeper to support her family. Now, Elizabeth had a lot of medical issues in her teens. She had a lot of issues with bronchitis and had severe asthma attacks, and she underwent lung surgery at 15 years of age.
Wow.
So her doctors recommended that she not stay in the climate. So during the winter, she would stay in Florida with her family and friends. But she actually eventually dropped out of high school her sophomore year. It's kind of important that she traveled back and forth to Florida because that comes back in later.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, her father's vehicle was found in 1930. So in late 1942, 12 years later, Elizabeth's mother received a letter of apology from her husband, which revealed that he was in fact alive and had started a new life in California. Yeah. In December of that year, at age 18, Elizabeth moved to California to live with her father, she had not seen since she was 6. But at the time, he was working at a nearby naval shipyard on San Francisco Bay. And arguments between her and her father led to her moving out in January of 1943. So she took a job at a base exchange at Camp Cook, which is near Lompoc, with a U.S. Army Air Force sergeant who reportedly abused her. She left him and the area around mid 1943 and moved to Santa Barbara, where she was arrested on September 23rd, 1943, for drinking at a local bar while underage. The juvenile authorities sent her back to Massachusetts, but she returned instead to Florida, and she only visited her family here and there. So while she was in Florida, she met Major Matthew Michael Gordon Jr., who was a decorated Army Air Force officer, and he was training for deployment to Southeast Asia Theater theater of World War II. Elizabeth later told her friends that Gordon had written to propose marriage while he was receiving injuries from a plane crash in India. She had accepted his offer, but unfortunately, he died in a second crash on August 10th, 1945, less than a week before the end of the war. So that ended that relationship, and in July 1946, Elizabeth went back to California, but this time to Los Angeles to visit a Air Force lieutenant who she had met in Florida and was stationed at the Naval Reserve in Long Beach. So she spent the last 6 months of her life living in Southern California in the Los Angeles area, and shortly before her death, she had been working as a waitress and had rented a room behind a nightclub on Hollywood Boulevard. Now, on January 9th, 1947, she returned to her home after a brief trip to San Diego with a 25-year-old married salesman that she had been dating by the name of Robert Red Manley. They call him Red as a nickname.
Mm-hmm.
Robert stated that he dropped Elizabeth off at the hotel in downtown LA and that she was supposed to meet her sister who was visiting from Boston. Later that afternoon, staff of the hotel recall having seen her use the lobby telephone, but a little bit after that, she was seen by a cocktail lounge, and that was the last that anybody would see of her for a few days.
Oh my god, I'm excited for the next part.
Oh.
I'm no, no, no. Like, okay, no, what I meant was I'm excited for you to like stop it.
Just stop. Just
Stop it right now. No, what I'm trying to say is I'm excited for like the ghosties who don't know this story, because I'm sure there's people, especially if you're not from California, you might have never heard about the Black Dahlia. If but just like it's so gruesome and it's so, I don't know. Okay, go ahead. I'm done.
We never claim to not be awkward people.
I know. Awkward is my middle name.
So anyways, last day that anybody saw her was January 9th. On the morning of January 15th in 1947, Elizabeth's naked body, severed into two pieces, was found in a vacant lot in the neighborhood of Leimert Park. At the time, Leimert Park was largely undeveloped, and if you're from SoCal, you know that it's pretty developed now. So local resident Betty Bernzinger discovered the body at approximately 10 a.m. while walking her 3-year-old daughter. Initially, she had thought that the body was a store mannequin. When she realized it was a corpse, only then did she rush to a nearby house and call the police. Now, that's the part that a lot of people don't know. I actually had somebody straight tell me to my face, "Oh, the Black Dahlia was just a mannequin. It wasn't real."
What?
Yeah. So apparently that's a rumor that actually did go out. Like everybody thought that it was just a hoax. And so yeah, I'm very shocked at that information. But anyways, it was not a mannequin. It was in fact Elizabeth Short's body. Her body was severely mutated. Like I said, it was in two pieces. It was severed at the waist. She was completely drained of blood, leaving her skin completely white. Medical examiners determined that she had been dead for around 10 hours prior to the discovery, leaving her time of death either sometime during the evening of January 14th or the early morning hours of January 15th. Now, like I said, the last time anybody had seen her was January 9th. That's almost an entire week.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I thought it was like a overnight thing. So her body had been washed by the killer, and her face had been slashed from corners of her mouth to her ears, creating an effect known as the gas glow smile. She had several cuts on her thighs and breasts where entire portions of her flesh had been sliced away. The lower half of her body was positioned a foot away from the upper half, and her intestines had been tucked underneath her butt. So the corpse had been posed with her hands over her head, her elbows bent at right angles, and her legs spread apart.
You know what you didn't do? You didn't do a trigger warning. Like to us,
Sorry.
it's just
I'm
like
so-
normal. And now I'm
You're
thinking
right.
about like how the listeners are gonna react to it, and they're just gonna be like, "Wait, what?"
There's probably a listener that's just like, what the fuck? I am so
Traumatized.
sorry. I am so sorry. Trigger warning.
Better late than never.
So, upon the discovery, a crowd of bypassers and reporters began to gather, including the Los Angeles Herald Express reporter Angie Underwood. She was one of the first to arrive and took several photos of the corpse and crime scene that are most commonly associated if you Google it. Trigger warning if you do Google it, it's not pretty.
I mean,
I,
it's not as bad as people will probably assume for that image to be, but it is still disturbing.
especially
Knowing
like,
that that was a person, you know what I
yeah,
mean?
exactly. And there's even photos where they put a picture of her before and a picture of her after, and it's just
Mhm.
it doesn't even look like her.
Yeah.
Um,
And it just gets you thinking, like, who is capable? Like, what kind of person did this? Like,
yeah,
like, who was capable of doing such a thing? Because it's not even just like killing someone, it's the way they went about the body and posing her body in a certain way. You know what I mean?
not only that, but it's like every little thing. Like, not only was she severed in half, but the
The
smile on her
smile.
face,
Yeah, the
and
details, man.
yeah. So near her body, detectives had located a heel print on the ground within the tire tracks, and a cement sack that contained watery blood was also found nearby. According to the autopsy report, her body being severed in half was a medical technique that was taught in the 1930s. And with the other laceration marks that were found, police did for a long time believe that her killer had some experience in the medical field.
Mhm. Yeah. They knew what they were doing.
Yeah, they did. So Elizabeth was identified after her fingerprints were sent to the FBI, and they were recognized because of her fingerprints that were on file from her 1943 arrest. Here's the fucked up part, though, and I didn't know this part, and I could not imagine like this being me as a mother.
Mhm.
So immediately following Elizabeth's identification, reporters from the William Randolph Hearst from Los Angeles contacted her mother in Boston and told her that her daughter had won a beauty contest. It was only after prying as much personal information as they could from her that the reporters then revealed that her daughter had in fact been murdered.
Dude, what the fuck?
Yeah. The newspaper offered to pay her airfare and accommodation if she would travel to Los Angeles to help with the police investigation. But that was just another ploy because the newspaper kept her away from police and other reporters to protect its scoop.
That's fucked and that's heartless. I didn't know that.
I Yeah, I didn't know that either, and I was so livid because as a mother, I would literally kill somebody if they did that to me.
Yeah.
These reporters, they get worse. So one article, well, the entire newspaper sensationalized the case, and one article from the Examiner described the tailored suit that Elizabeth was last seen in as a tight skirt and a sheer blouse. So basically blaming her for what she was wearing. The media eventually nicknamed her the Black Dahlia and described her as an adventuress who prowled Hollywood Boulevard. Other newspaper reporters, such as one that was published in the Los Angeles Times on January 17th, deemed the murderer a sex fiend slaying.
I'm like irritated.
I know.
Like,
I
like I don't even know what to say. Like I'm speechless.
Yeah, it hits so close to what's going on today where like everyone tries to victim
Yeah.
blame women when things happen, and it's just
Yeah.
anyways. So on January 21st, 1947, a person that claimed to be Elizabeth's killer placed a phone call to the office of James Richardson, which was the editor of the Examiner, congratulating him on the newspaper's coverage of the case, and stated that he planned to eventually turn himself in, but not before he allowed police to pursue him a little longer. The caller also told Richardson to expect some souvenirs of Beth's shorts in the mail. Now, this was on the 21st. On January 24th, a suspicious Manila envelope was discovered by a U.S. Postal Service worker, and the envelope had been addressed to Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers, with individual words that had been cut out and pasted from newspaper clippings. A large message on the face of the envelope read, "Here is Dahlia's belongings. Letter to follow." The envelope contained Elizabeth's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, names written on pieces of paper, and an address book with the name Mark Hansen embossed on the cover. The packet had been carefully cleaned with gasoline, similar to Elizabeth's body, which led police to suspect that the packet had been sent directly by her killer. Despite their efforts to clean the packet, several partial fingerprints were lifted and were sent to the FBI for testing, but they were compromised in transit and could not be properly analyzed.
Wow.
Yeah, imagine that.
You're
So,
irritating me. You're ruining my day.
so the same day the packet was received by the examiner, a handbag and a black suede shoe was reported to have been seen on top of a garbage can in an alley 2 miles from where Elizabeth's body had been discovered. The items were recovered by police, but they had been wiped clean with gasoline as well, which destroyed any fingerprints. On March 14th, an apparent suicide
Yeah.
note scrawled in pencil on a bit of paper was found tucked in a shoe in a pile of men's clothing by the ocean's edge at the foot of Breeze Avenue in Venice. The note read, "To whom it may concern, I have waited for the police to capture me for the Black Dahlia killing, but have not. I am too much of a coward to turn myself in, so this is the best way out for me. I couldn't help myself for that or this. Sorry, Mary." The pile of clothing was first seen by a beach caretaker who reported the discovery to the lifeguard captain, who immediately notified the Los Angeles police station. The clothes included a coat and trousers, a brown and white t-shirt, white jockey shorts, tan socks, and moccasin shoes, about a size 8. The clothes gave no identity for their owner. Even though this person took credit for the killings, there was also a lot that contradicted that.
Mhm.
So police deemed that Mark Hansen, the owner of the address book that was found in the packet, he was a suspect. He was a wealthy nightclub and theater owner and an acquaintance of Short, who she had stayed with for a little bit. According to some sources, he also confirmed the person the shoe discovered in the alley were hers. And one of Elizabeth's friends and her roommate, Ann Toth, told investigators that Elizabeth before her death had recently rejected sexual advances from Hansen and suggested it as a potential cause for him to kill her.
Okay, if I may,
Yeah.
I was literally, when you were talking about the clothes, like this thought literally came into my head where I thought about, I have a feeling that whoever did kill her probably tried to hit on her, but she rejected him.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was him, like, like retaliation. Is that the right word here?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? So,
Yep.
ugh, wow.
Yeah. Hansen was cleared of suspicion in the case, but in addition to him, the LAPD interviewed 150 men in the ensuing weeks who they believe were suspects.
Mm.
Not a single one of them they believe were guilty. The graphic nature of her death and the letters that were received by the examiner had resulted in a media frenzy that was both local and national news. A lot of it had been suggesting that Elizabeth had been tortured for hours prior to her death. The information was false, however, because there was no evidence of it. Yet, despite that, police allowed the reports to circulate to conceal Elizabeth's true cause of death, which was a cerebral hemorrhage. They wanted to keep that a secret as long as possible to be able to identify the killer if, they were able to find him. Other reports about Elizabeth's personal life were also publicized, including details about her alleged declining of Hansen's romantic advances. And a stripper who was an acquaintance of Elizabeth told police that she liked to get guys to work up over her, but then she would leave them hanging dry. So this led a lot of reporters, namely the Herald Express, and detectives to both look into the possible that Short was actually a lesbian and began questioning employees and patrons of gay bars in Los Angeles. This claim also remained unproven. The Herald Express also received another letter from the supposed killer with a cut and pasted clipping that read, "I will give up on Dahlia killing. If I get 10 years, don't try to find me." So I know I've kind of like jumped around a little bit. That was kind of like everything that had happened during the case and everything.
Mhm.
On February 1st, the Los Angeles Daily News reported that the case had run into a stone wall, and with no new leads for investigators to pursue, the case became cold. We're going to go into like all the different theories that police and researchers have come up with in all of the years since.
Mhm.
So, when interviewed, lead investigator Jack Donahue told the press that he believed Elizabeth's murder had taken place in a remote building on the outskirts of LA and that her body was transported to the city where it was disposed of. Based on the precision of cuts and the dissection of her corpse, the LAPD looked into the possibility, like I said, that
What?
the possibility that the murderer, like I had said, was a surgeon, doctor, or someone with medical knowledge. And in mid-February of 1947, the LAPD served a warrant to the University of Southern California Medical School, which is located near the site where her body had been discovered, and requested a complete list of the program's students. The university agreed so long as the students' identities remained private. Background checks were concluded, but no results became of it. So, suspects that remained under discussion by various authors and experts include a doctor named Walter Bailey, who was proposed by the former Times publisher Norman Chandler. A biographer claimed that the Times publisher Norman Chandler actually impregnated Elizabeth, which is why he killed her. And then there was also George Hill Holden Jr., who became a suspect after his death when his son accused him of killing Elizabeth and several additional murders. And prior to the Dahlia case, George Hill Holden Jr. was also a suspect in the death of his secretary, but was not charged with it. He was also accused of raping his own daughter, but was acquitted for that. And he fled the country several times and spent 1950 to 1990 in the Philippines. So he was one of one of the biggest suspects as well because of all of that. Several crime authors and Cleveland detective Peter Merlo have suspected that a link between Elizabeth's murder and the Cleveland Torso murders was a possible hint. The Cleveland Torso murders took place in Cleveland, Ohio between 1934 and 1938. As part of their investigation into other murders that took place before and after Elizabeth's killing, the original LAPD investigators discounted any relationship between those two cases. February 10th, 1947, with the murder of Jean French in Los Angeles. She was also considered by media and detectives as possibly being connected to Elizabeth's killing because her body was discovered in West LA, nude and badly beaten. Written on her stomach in lipstick was what appeared to say, "Fuck you, BD," and the letters TEX below. But the Herald Press, who covered the story heavily, drew comparisons to the murder and surmised that the initials BD stood for Black Dahlia. But according to a historian, the scrawling actually read PD, which was standing for Police Department.
Mm.
Another theory that came about was from crime authors Steve Holden and William Rusman, which suggested a link between Elizabeth's murder and the 1946 murder and dismemberment of a 6-year-old Susan Degnan in Chicago, Illinois. And then there was also Captain Donahue of the LAPD, who stated publicly that he believed Black Dahlia and the Chicago lipstick murders were likely connected as well. So there is a lot going back and forth, and I still have more. One of the ones that I found extremely interesting was in 1991, Janice Knowlton, a woman who was 10 years old at the time of Elizabeth's murder, claimed that she witnessed her father, George, beat Elizabeth to death with a claw hammer in the detached garage of her family's home in Westminster. She also published a book titled Daddy Was the Black Dahlia Killer in 1995, which she made additional claims that her father sexually molested her as well. The book was condemned as trash by her stepsister in 2004, who stated, "She believed it, but it wasn't reality. I know because I lived with her father for 16 years. Additionally, Detective St. John told the Times that Janice's claims were not consistent with the facts of the case, and so it was deemed insufficient claims. Now, another suspect was a bellhop, and in the 2017 book Black Dahlia, Red Rose focuses on Leslie Dillon, who was a bellhop and former mortician's assistant. He was a suspect because of his connection to Mark Hansen and Jeff Connors, who were also suspects in her murder.
Mm.
And the author of that book believes that Elizabeth was murdered because she knew too much about the men's involvement in a scheme for robbing hotels. She also suggested that Elizabeth was killed at the Astor Motel in Los Angeles, where the owners reported finding one of their rooms covered in blood and fecal matter on the morning that Elizabeth's body was found. However, there's been no looking into that part, which I think is kind of weird because if they found blood and everything at the same day that her body was found, wouldn't that at least draw suspicion?
Yeah.
Well, apparently not. So, whatever the truth is, the Black Dahlia murder has been described as one of the most brutal and culturally enduring crimes in American history, and Time magazine has listed it as one of the most infamous unsolved cases in the world. And that's it for the Black Dahlia. I hope you enjoyed that segment. Again, I'm sorry for the lack of a trigger warning.
Yeah, unbelievable. How could you? Yeah, what a journey, dude.
Was it as exciting as you thought it was?
It was well, yes, because I obviously, yeah, that was a lot of information that I didn't know about the mystery behind the Black Dahlia.
I could tell because you were getting like very angry.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, can you blame me, you know? It's
No.
just, I don't know. I feel bad for her. I hope maybe one day they can open that case again and, figure it out. I just hope her spirit is resting in peace because
Yeah.
that's wild. And the whole, what I mentioned of the killer possibly hitting on her and her rejecting him, and that's what led for the killer to do what he did to the Black Dahlia. It's been a common occurrence, and I think I thought about it right away because recently I don't know if you've heard, but there's a shooting out here in California in Montebello.
Mm-hmm.
And coming to find out, the killer was pretty much pissed off at the world because no woman wanted him, wanted to date him, wanted to like sleep with him, blah blah blah. And I've actually done a serial killer in season 1 where same thing. The reason why he went on a killing spree was because, women kept rejecting him and stuff.
I just
So,
wanna I just wanna point out they call women the emotional ones, and yet you don't see
mhm.
women going on a murder spree because
They get
someone rejected
rejected.
them. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, moving on to my paranormal topic. It's very short compared to, I mean, even if you're not comparing it to anything, it's very short, but I found it interesting. So last week I asked you and I asked our special guest, Tavi, if, given the opportunity and if guaranteed your safety, if you would be down to witness an exorcism.
Mhm.
You said yes, Javi said no. I don't think I answered because I don't know.
Would you?
That's if I was
Don't
guaranteed my safety, yeah, I would. I would be down
you
to be in the room and witness.
you and I are gonna be sitting in the corner with a bowl of popcorn.
I mean, I don't know about that. That's so insensitive, Chelsea. Gosh. Anyways, so my paranormal topic is the exorcism of Gottlieb. I can
Gottliebin?
say it great in my head. Gottliebin Dittus. It's spelled Gottl, I believe Iebin. Last name Dittus. So I want to start off by introducing the man who performed the exorcism. His name is Johann Christoph Blumhardt. Lovely name. Who was a German Lutheran theologian who was best known for his motto and centralization of Christianity around the idea that Jesus is victor. And you'll see where he motto from.
Okay.
So in 1842, German villagers began to notice strange things occurring in the home of a 28-year-old woman named Gottliebin Dittus. Dittus claimed that her house was haunted. Simple as that, her house is haunted. However, shortly after making that claim, people began to notice Dittus slipping in and out of a trance-like state. Say you witnessed me going through this in and out trance-like state, what would you do?
Um
You're like nothing.
no, it's the first thing that
Snapchat
came
you.
to first thing that came to my head was to dunk you in holy water.
Meow. Yeah. Um if you don't get that meow and you think I'm super weird, please listen. Please
To
listen to
episode
episode
2.
3. Oh, 2, sorry. Oh my gosh, episode 2. Jesus.
We're gonna have to be saying that like all season. I can feel it already.
Meow. My daughter's coming down with the meow. Best line from that episode. Best line. It was so funny. Anyways, bring out the whip. Yeah, dude, why holy water? Bring out the whip. Maybe that'll get me back on track.
I I don't I don't know. I mean,
It's okay, let's move on.
I
Um,
don't feel like whipping you. Just
but
dunk your ass in
why?
water. Because you'll
If
like it too much.
well, maybe anyways, if things weren't if things weren't weird enough, when a religious pastor, aka Johann Christoph Blumhardt, commenced an exorcism, things definitely began to get crazier. Of course, bring the pastor in and it gets crazier. It's like that with like ghost hunters, I feel like whenever they're in the picture, things just get crazier or quieter, who knows.
Yeah.
Titus started to become violent, requiring physical restraints. The pastor performed these exorcisms for 2 years.
Oh my
2 years.
God.
Titus vomited, ready? Glass, nails, and of course, blood during these exorcisms.
I'm sorry. What exactly what kind of exorcism do they put glass and nails into her stomach?
Listen, you don't judge people on their diets, okay?
I'm
If
judging.
it
I'm
if
judging.
I'm judging hard. Yeah, yeah, she vomited glass nails and blood during these exorcisms. So, yum. So finally Ditus informed everyone that the demons were gone and stated, Jesus is Victor. That's my segment. That's the story. That's the exorcism. I think what really grabbed from this one was the fact that this went on for 2 years.
And then it just ended. Jesus is Victor. What the fuck did
Yeah,
he do?
Jesus. He didn't do shit. But the fact that she vomited glass nails, the blood, whatever, the blood, but the glass and the nails, like where?
Exactly. Like, what the fuck was the priest doing? Like, shoving nails and glass down her throat? Like, here, I'm gonna cut the demon from the inside out.
I don't
What
know.
the
I don't
fuck?
know what went on. YouTube was not invented in 1842, the black web didn't exist. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a great little mystery. Probably not as great as the mystery of the Black Dahlia, but it's interesting nonetheless and a little creepy. I hope I never need an exorcism. I don't think I'll do. But you on the other hand.
Well, let me just like reassure you that if you ever need an exorcism, I will make sure that no one throws fucking glass and nails down your throat so you
Oh,
vomit
but
them.
you'll be fucking eating popcorn in the corner, huh?
Yeah, like hurry up. Like this bitch and I have a date to go do.
Ew. We have a podcast episode to record, so can you get that
Can you
demon
hurry it
out
up?
faster?
Wrap it up. Come on.
I love that you love me.
Of course I do.
Anyways, moving on to segment 3, which is our tarot card reading. We actually have a request from one of our favorite listeners, Taylor. She requested a reading for the year ahead for her specifically. So, Chelsea, do you want to get us started on that?
Yeah, so since you wanted to know what your year ahead looks like, we are doing a month by month play.
This reminds me of the TikTok where people it goes month by month and each month
Oh, the
has a different
emojis?
emoji. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the emoji says like what you're if this is that, but in tarot reading form.
I did that and I was not happy with the results.
Oh my gosh, I want to see.
I no, it was literally like every single crying face that you can think of in emoji form for everyone.
That's sad.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, no, it's not happening. So the cards, like I said, basically go month by month. And since we're already in February, we're just going to start with this month. So instead of a 12 card, it's an 11 card reading. Card one is the month of February, and this comes through the Ace of Pentacles reversed. So for February, you're going to feel like you're lacking a lot of opportunities and that you're either unstable or financially unstable. Whether it's financial or not is just kind of like in there, but you're going to have even possibly missed romantic opportunities. And so you may feel like you haven't spent your time wisely and that you've made some bad decisions in your path, but it's not too late to change and think more about what you want to do. So take this month to think about your options and what you want to do before you make any hasty decisions. So, card two for March is the Eight of Cups. You're going to be walking away from situations and abandoning plans because you are reaching your limit of disappointment. So this really goes in with what you think about in February. So in March, while you're walking away from all of these situations, you're going to have the strength and the courage to just abandon what's no longer serving you. And this is a good time to embark on self-discovery and searching for a deeper truth within yourself. Wow, that was deep.
But also exciting because it's pretty much saying like, you're gonna have an open window to being able to discover shit about yourself, you know?
Yeah. So, card 3 for the month of April comes to the Queen of Wands. You're going to have a lot of optimism and independence, and you're going to be accomplishing tasks. You're going to have a lot of energy coming up, especially a lot of sexual energy. So, you're going to be taking charge of things, of reorganizing your life. You're going to be unafraid to speak up, and you're going to have a willingness to stand up to or for others.
Not on
So,
her birthday month. That's her birthday month, dude.
yeah,
April
it is.
1st.
She's an April
LOL.
Fool's baby.
Get it, queen. Get it.
And it's so funny that you say that because it's the Queen of Wands.
Yeah, exactly. Slay.
So card 4 is the month of May, and this comes through the Six of Swords reversed. So probably having a play from your previous month of April, where you had a lot of sexual energy, you're you're going. I I swear this is just what the cards mean. I'm sorry. You're going to be you're going to feel overwhelmed in a relationship or face a difficult situation with them. You're going to be resisting this change and you're going to feel trapped.
Oh
So
no.
this lack of progress is going to affect you mentally, but you need to examine what's keeping you from moving on and consider why you need to make the change for what's no longer serving you.
Let's
Now
just go
that,
back to
like I
April.
said, like it just depends on what the situation is. It may not just
Yeah.
be the person that you're with. It could just be the situation that you're both in together.
Mm-hmm.
So don't take that as break up with the person. Just think about everything that's going on and what you want. God, that took such a drastic turn.
I know.
So card 5 is the month of June, and this comes through the Nine of Cups. Girl, your wishes are coming true. So May have been a hard month, but your wishes are coming true. Your dreams are becoming a reality, and you're going to accomplish anything that you put your mind to.
Yes. I love that.
So don't let that little dip in the road throw you off course. So card 6 is the month of July, and this comes through the Three of Swords reversed. So although you're experiencing conflict or a loss, you're going to have the desire to overcome sorrow and or heartbreak. You're going to be sharing your views and reconciling with someone who hurt you in the past, and that can lead to forgiveness. It'll end up releasing the pain and traumatic experience that you had, and not accepting the situation is going to make things worse. You need to focus on letting go of that pain and that past hurt in order to move on. So card 7 is the month of August, and this comes through the Four of Cups. You're going to feel a sense of yearning and regret, and you're probably focusing on a lot of the negative. So you need to contemplate and meditate over this and reevaluate what's important to you in order to think the positive out of your situation. Realizing what makes you feel bored and unhappy and doing something about it is going to make a change for the better. I feel like there's a lot of contemplation going on this year for you. And I feel like that's going to be a good thing because you're really going to learn a lot about yourself.
Yeah.
So, card 8 is the month of September, and this comes through the Lovers. Now, this card represents relationships and choices. So, you do have a lot of love and harmony in your life, and whether that's a romantic relationship, a soulmate relationship, or a friendship one, there's going to be some decision about an existing relationship and a temptation of your heart and a choice of partners. So there's lots of things that are going on with the people that you love, both friend wise, family wise, and romantic wise. So, whatever it is, there's going to be decisions to be made for all three of them. Card number 9 is the month of October, and this comes through the Four of Pentacles. You're holding on to people, possessions, and situations that are part of your past, and it could become a possessive or a toxic trait. Someone may be holding on to you in the same matter, so you need to establish your boundaries or respect the boundaries of other people. You need to be open to letting go and holding on to things that can lead to blocking your progress and keeping yourself isolated. So you need to be careful not to become a prisoner of material possessions.
Holding grudges is dangerous, you know?
Yes, it is very dangerous. So card 10 is the month of November, and this comes through the Five of Cups reversed. You're ready to move on, accept help, and rejoin the world. So whatever is no longer serving you, it's time to let it go, and forgiveness and healing are now coming to you. So whatever it was that whatever grudge you were holding on to, you're finally going to be releasing it in November and ready to move on and be happy. The last card is the month of December, and this comes through the world. You have finally accomplished your goal or purpose, and you're in the right place and doing the right thing. You're going to finally feel whole and complete and in tune with the cosmic conscious and in perfect union with the universe. You have an understanding that is going to project you forward. I feel like that was a good ending to your year.
Yeah.
Like you really just like go full circle.
I don't even think like I know you did like month by month, but I don't even think like each month these specific things are gonna happen. I just think like within
In
the
order.
year,
Yeah.
yeah, within the year you're gonna be going through these experiences. And like I love how it stays on topic with these cards, you know, you're gonna be making choices, you're gonna have to put yourself first. You're gonna have to let go of certain grudges that you either already have or are going to have,
Hmm.
because letting go of those grudges is gonna be the better choice for you. It's gonna not hold you back,
Yeah.
because that's such a negative thing to hold on to, you know. And I know it's hard sometimes to get over things or to move on from certain things, especially if maybe that person, whether it's a friend, whether it's a partner, whether it's a family member, is still in the picture. But these cards are
Hmm.
clearly saying like think about who you have in your life, put you first, and do what's best for you. Because clearly if you do what these cards are advising you to do, you know, with the world in December, like you're gonna end the year on good terms with not only the people in your life, but with yourself.
Yeah, exactly. This is definitely going to be a year of contemplation for you, but you're going to end up victorious at the end. Jesus is the victor.
Meow. Um,
We can't be serious, guys. Sorry.
and again, if you haven't listened to episode 2, please do, because I have a feeling we're gonna be meowing a lot from now on. Anyways, anything else that you'd like to add, Chelsea?
No, I feel like the cards were pretty spot on, and yeah.
All right. Well, Taylor, good luck with your year. I wish you nothing but the best. I wish you success. I wish you love, which clearly you're going to be getting. Um I just I'm I hope she doesn't get mad.
She's
I'm
gonna
gonna
be
be
like,
waiting
"You
for
fucking bitches."
I know I'm waiting. I'm gonna be waiting for that text. But yeah, I wish you nothing but the best, genuinely. So all that being said, thank you, ghosties, for joining us this week. We hope you had as much fun as we did,
And
or
that you're
had,
not too traumatized.
yeah, traumatized or irritated by the information given out during the true crime segment. Nonetheless, if you were entertained, please make sure to give us a follow on Instagram and TikTok. And if you are interested in a free tarot card reading, feel free to DM us. You could DM us on TikTok, on Instagram. You can text us if you know us personally. If you don't want your name known, you could choose an alias. We got you. All that being said, we are your hosts. I'm Veronica.
And I'm Chelsea.
Have a spooky weekend, and we will talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
Meow.